Did you know that hitting the snooze button on your alarm actually causes this totally violent chemical clash in your brain?
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. When you drift back to sleep for just those few extra minutes, your brain releases a massive flood of serotonin to, knock you out again. But then the alarm rings a second time, forcing adrenaline right back into your system.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It is. You are literally mixing chemical uppers and downers, which basically leaves you feeling exhausted for hours. Anyway, we are Linda and John. Welcome to the Learn English at Ease podcast.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Whether you are listening on your morning walk, driving in your car, or just relaxing at home, this conversation is designed to help you improve your English naturally while we talk about something we all deal with every single day.
Exactly. And today we're exploring how to navigate your daily schedule, build healthy routines, and master the exact vocabulary you need to talk about your day in English.
But, before we dive into the details, we have a small favor to ask. If you want to support us and keep improving your English every week, please hit that subscribe button right now. It really helps our channel grow.
It really does. So thank you for that. Now let's start at the very beginning of the day. The absolute genesis of your daily routine, that terrible moment the alarm clock goes off.
Oh, yes. The hardest part of the day for a lot of people.
For sure. And this actually brings up a really crucial distinction in English that trips up a lot of learners, which is the difference between the phrasal verbs wake up and get up.
Right. Because people often use them interchangeably, but they actually describe two entirely different things, both biologically and physically.
Exactly. So to wake up simply means the moment your sleep cycle ends and your eyes open, you become conscious.
Right. You're awake, but you're still in bed. Whereas to get up is the physical action of moving your body, leaving the mattress, and actually putting your feet on the floor.
And I am the ultimate example of this gap. I mean, I might wake up at 6:30 a.m. because the alarm goes off, but I definitely do not physically get up until 7 a.m.
A whole 30 minutes.
Yes. There is a solid 30-minute window where I am just awake, staring at the ceiling, debating all my life choices, and repeatedly hitting that snooze button.
That is a dangerous game to play.
Oh, I know. I actually had to resort to a crazy strategy. I started putting my phone on top of my highest bookshelf way across the room just to force my physical body to actually get up.
Wow. I mean, that is a highly effective, if slightly torturous, strategy.
It really is.
But going back to that snooze button for a moment, the mechanics behind it are actually fascinating. Have you ever wondered why the standard snooze time on almost every digital clock and phone is exactly 9 minutes?
I always assumed it was just a random number that Apple or someone programmed in. Is there a specific reason it isn't just a clean 10 minutes?
Yeah, it goes all the way back to the 1950s when the very first mechanical snooze clocks were invented.
Wait, really? The 1950s?
Yep. The engineers had to fit a brand new gear into an existing clock design. And because of the way the gears physically meshed together, they literally couldn't make it exactly 10 minutes.
That is so weird.
Right. It'd be slightly more or slightly less, so they just chose 9 minutes. And today, our incredibly advanced smartphones still use that 9-minute default purely out of tradition.
So we are ruining our brain chemistry every single morning because of a gear limitation from the 1950s. That is completely absurd.
It is. And that chemical clash you mentioned earlier, it actually has a scientific name. It's called sleep inertia.
Sleep inertia. That sounds heavy.
It is, because when you go back to sleep after hitting snooze, your brain initiates a brand new deep sleep cycle. Pulling yourself out of deep sleep just 9 minutes later is biologically traumatic for your body.
Wow, traumatic.
Yeah, it takes your brain hours to clear that brain fog compared to just getting up the very first time the alarm rings.
That makes total sense, honestly. So to the listener right now, ask yourself, are you a snoozer or do you jump out of bed instantly? Think about how you would describe your own morning in English. Do you wake up and get up at the exact same time, or is there a delay?
That's a great question. But, just physically getting out of bed doesn't mean your brain is fully awake. That gap between opening your eyes and actually functioning is where a lot of people accidentally sabotage their day with one specific device.
Oh, the phone, the infamous morning screen time.
Exactly. Most experts claim that reaching for your phone the very second you open your eyes is a terrible habit.
Yeah, they say it spikes your stress levels before you even leave the bed, right?
Yeah,
And that you should replace it with drinking a large glass of water to rehydrate your brain.
right. Hydration is key after sleeping for 8 hours.
Sure, but I actually want to challenge this whole no phone in the morning rule.
Oh, really? Challenge it how? Because the data on morning screen time causing anxiety is pretty robust.
Right, but I think we are basically blaming the glass rectangle itself instead of what is actually on it. Like, what if you use your phone to open a guided meditation app?
Hmm.
Or what if you put on an English learning podcast, just like this one, while you stretch on the floor? The physical device is exactly the same, but the intention is totally different.
You know, that is a very fair distinction. The real issue is cortisol.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yes, cortisol is the hormone that naturally wakes you up. When you open your eyes, your body produces a spike in cortisol to get you moving. It is a biological necessity.
Right, you need it to literally function.
Exactly. But when you immediately open social media or read the daily news, you are throwing psychological stress on top of that natural biological spike. Your brain enters a state of reactivity and threat detection.
Ah, I see.
But if you are opening a meditation app or a podcast, you are acting with intention. You're controlling the input instead of letting the internet control you.
So the phone can be a tool for a positive routine, provided you control the content. And by the way, routine is a vital vocabulary word for us today. A routine is basically a sequence of actions regularly followed. It is the structure of your day.
It is. And part of that morning routine, after you hydrate or meditate, is preparing for the transition to work. Which brings us to a fantastic English word that functions as both a noun and a verb: commute.
Oh, I love teaching this word. As a verb, it describes the action of traveling. So you might say, I commute to the city every morning.
Perfect example.
But as a noun, it describes the journey itself. Like, my morning commute takes 45 minutes.
Exactly. And historically, the commute is actually a relatively modern invention. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived exactly where they worked, like on a farm or right above their shop.
That's true. You just walk downstairs.
Right. The concept of traveling away from your home to a separate location designated only for labor completely changed human psychology.
And a lot of people view that travel time as just a frustrating waste of life. Sitting in gridlock traffic or standing shoulder to shoulder on a damp train, just losing hours every single week.
Oh, yeah. It can be incredibly stressful.
It can, but I actually think the commute is incredibly valuable. I think it is precious personal time.
Precious personal time. I imagine someone listening to this while currently stuck in heavy traffic might strongly disagree with you.
Hear me out. Years ago, I had a job that required a 30-minute bus commute each way. It was bumpy, it was loud, and honestly, I resented it.
I don't blame you.
But then I decided to reclaim that time. I put on my noise-canceling headphones and used that exact 30-minute block to learn a new language through audio lessons.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. That bus ride became my favorite part of the day because it was a barrier. Nobody from my family could ask me to do chores, and nobody from my office could ask me for a report. It was just a built-in mental preparation zone.
That makes a lot of sense. You were basically utilizing what psychologists call a liminal space.
Yep, a liminal space. What does that mean?
A liminal space is a threshold, like a transition between two totally different states of being. The commute serves as a psychological airlock. It gives your brain the time to switch off the home identity and boot up the work identity.
Oh, an airlock. I like that analogy.
Yeah, and this is actually a massive problem for people who work from home. When your commute is just walking from your bed to your living room table, you lack that liminal space.
You never fully transition.
Exactly. Which is why remote workers so often feel like they are never truly off the clock.
That perfectly describes the remote work feeling, but whether you commute across the city or just across the hallway, you eventually start working. You power through the morning, tackle your tasks, and feel highly productive. But then, almost like clockwork, it
The
happens.
2 p.m. crash.
Yes, you have survived the morning, eaten your lunch, and suddenly you hit this huge physical and mental wall. Energy levels just plummet.
You really do.
In English, we actually have a very specific idiom for this feeling. We call it the afternoon slump. A slump is a sudden, severe drop.
Right. And when you hit that afternoon slump, being productive, which means generating a large amount of high-quality work, feels completely impossible.
Totally impossible. You just stare at the screen.
Yep. And there's a deep biological reason for this. It is a combination of your circadian rhythm naturally dipping in the early afternoon, which causes a slight drop in your core body temperature, paired with the buildup of a chemical called adenosine in your brain.
Adenosine. What exactly does that do?
So adenosine is a neurotransmitter that makes you feel tired. From the very moment you wake up, it slowly builds up in your brain like sand in an hourglass.
Just constantly building up.
Yes. By 2 or 3 p.m., there is a significant amount of it, and your brain is heavily signaling that it needs a rest. You have to take a break, which is a great phrasal verb meaning to stop your activity for a short time to rest.
The issue is how we choose to take that break. When that slump hits, the distractions look incredibly appealing.
Oh, they do.
If you are at home, the refrigerator suddenly becomes magnetic. You just open it, hoping some magical high-energy snack has magically appeared. But we handled this totally wrong. I actually like to tell people, treat your energy like a cell phone battery.
A cell phone battery. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, you wouldn't wait until your phone is at literally 1% to charge it, right? So why wait until you are completely exhausted to take a break? You need to recharge before it hits zero.
That's a great way to look at it.
But the problem is how we try to recharge. When I hit the afternoon slump, my immediate instinct is to drink a giant cup of coffee and eat something sugary, like a piece of chocolate.
Ah, the classic mistake.
Right. But doing that is like throwing a handful of dry paper onto a dying fire.
Exactly. It flares up bright and hot for about 10 minutes, but then it burns out completely, leaving you with nothing but ash.
Yep. I get this 20-minute burst of manic energy, and then I crash even harder than before.
And that is because caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It doesn't create anything new in your body at all.
Wait, it doesn't? Then what is it doing?
Caffeine works by blocking the adenosine receptors in your brain. It acts like a temporary dam. The tiredness is still building up behind the dam. You just can't feel it temporarily.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a trap.
It is. Because when the caffeine wears off, the dam breaks, and all that tiredness floods your brain at once. Add a sugar crash from the chocolate, where your body overproduces insulin to manage the sugar, causing your blood sugar to plummet, and you are physically exhausted.
So what is the alternative then? How do I build a better fire?
Well, you need to throw a solid oak log on the fire, not paper. The absolute best way to beat the afternoon slump is to take a brisk 10-minute walk outside and eat a healthy fat, like a handful of almonds or walnuts.
A walk and some nuts.
Yes, the walk gets your blood pumping and oxygenates your brain, while the sunlight halts melatonin production. And the nuts provide slow-burning energy that doesn't spike your insulin.
Okay, a brisk walk and some nuts. I mean, it doesn't sound as fun as coffee and chocolate, but I really can't argue with the biology.
Plus, if you drink a giant coffee at 3 p.m., that caffeine stays in your system for up to 10 hours. You are actively sabotaging the next crucial phase of our daily schedule, which is winding down and disconnecting.
That is so true. Surviving the workday means you eventually get to shift your focus. We have to stop talking about being productive and start talking about recovery.
Exactly.
And the vocabulary word here is prepare. To make things ready for the next phase, You have to prepare your mind to stop working.
And one of the most effective ways to prepare for the evening is rooted in this amazing psychological concept called enclothed cognition.
Enclosed cognition, does that have to do with putting on sweatpants the second I get home? Because changing into comfortable clothes is honestly the best part of the day.
It actually does. Enclothed cognition is the proven psychological phenomenon where the clothes you wear literally influence your mental state.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, when you wear stiff professional clothes, your brain adopts a professional, alert posture. Taking those off and putting on soft, loose clothing physically changes your cognitive processing. It signals to your brain that the demand for high-level focus is officially over.
Sweatpants really are the official uniform of relaxation. But then, comes the evening dinner debate. You are tired. Do you cook a healthy meal, like a fresh vegetable curry, or do you surrender and just order a delivery pizza?
Well, cooking can actually act as another liminal space, another transition. Chopping vegetables and following a recipe forces you out of your abstract work-stressed mind and grounds you in your physical senses.
That's a nice way to frame it.
But regardless of what you do for dinner, you have to establish firm boundaries. For example, a hard rule of not looking at work emails after 7 p.m.
Ooh, that is incredibly difficult for people because our offices are now literally inside our pockets. But if you are answering emails at 9 p.m., your brain is active and flooded with stress hormones. And you are inevitably going to experience our next vocabulary phrase, which is to stay up late. This means to remain awake long past your normal or intended bedtime.
And staying up late almost always leads to struggling with our final phrase, to fall asleep. Notice the specific verb we use there. We do not say make sleep or do sleep. We fall asleep.
I love that phrase. It suggests a natural, effortless surrender to gravity and rest.
It does. But it is rarely effortless.
Yeah.
Some people fall asleep the moment their head hits the pillow. Boom, they are out.
I envy those people.
Right. Others have incredibly hyperactive minds. You lie in the dark and suddenly your brain decides to analyze an awkward conversation you had in an elevator 4 years ago.
Oh, the worst.
This is why evening routines are heavily promoted. Reading a physical book or going through a strict 10-minute skincare routine.
Okay, wait, I actually have a theory about this.
Let's hear it.
Do you think a skincare routine, like washing your face, applying serums, rubbing in moisturizer, is actually about improving your skin? Or is it just a psychological trick we play on ourselves, like a physical ritual to tell the brain to shut down?
Oh, it is pure classical conditioning, just like Ivan Pavlov and his dogs.
The bell ringing, right.
Exactly. Pavlov rang a bell before feeding his dogs, and eventually the dogs would salivate just hearing the bell, even if there was no food. If you do the exact same physical actions in the exact same order every single night, washing your face, smelling a specific moisturizer, your brain learns to associate those sensory inputs with falling asleep.
That is fascinating.
After a few weeks, simply smelling your evening face wash triggers your brain to start lowering your heart rate.
So it's basically creating a bridge between a chaotic day and a restful night. You are literally programming your own brain.
Precisely. And to make that programming even stronger, I highly recommend adopting the practice of a digital sunset.
A digital sunset. That sounds incredibly peaceful. What does it involve?
It is the practice of turning off all glowing screens, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and the television 1 full hour before you intend to fall asleep. Just as the real sun goes down outside, you let the digital sun set in your home.
And that's because of the blue light, right?
Yes. Your brain's pineal gland relies on darkness to produce melatonin, which is the hormone that regulates sleep. The specific wavelength of blue light emitted by our screens tricks the brain into thinking the sun is still up, which completely suppresses melatonin production.
Oh, wow.
So enforcing a digital sunset allows that natural hormone to finally flood your system. You replace the screen with a physical book, a conversation, or some light stretching. It profoundly changes how fast you fall asleep.
A digital sunset takes discipline, especially when it is so easy to scroll in bed, but I can see how that would revolutionize your energy for the next morning.
It really does.
It is all a cycle. The way you handle the afternoon slump dictates how easily you wind down, which dictates how well you fall asleep, which dictates how hard it is to get up when that 9-minute snooze alarm goes off.
It is entirely connected. You cannot view the segments of your day in isolation.
Which brings us to a really important thought to leave you with today. Look closely at your daily schedule. Think about all the habits we unpacked, from the cortisol spikes to the digital sunsets. Is your routine controlling you, or are you controlling your routine?
That is the big question.
So many people just wake up and let the momentum of the day drag them along. They live in a totally reactive state. Make a conscious choice to design your day with purpose.
And understanding the mechanisms behind your habits gives you the power to change them. And, part of taking control of your day is taking control of your learning.
Exactly. We want to hear directly from you. Tell us in the comment section below. What time do you wake up on weekdays, and what is the very first thing you do? Do you reach for the phone, or do you have a different routine?
And please do not worry about making mistakes with your grammar or spelling. Just right. The comments section is a supportive space to practice the vocabulary we covered today.
We read every single comment, and we cannot wait to hear about how you start your mornings. Be sure to check out our next episode to keep building your English vocabulary and your confidence. Thank you so much for spending your commute, your morning walk, or your evening routine with us. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and keep practicing.